What if I told you that entire cities, vast, once thriving places, are now forgotten and entirely abandoned? No life, no people, just traces of the past. While some of these cities slowly faded into silence, others were abandoned overnight. The strange thing is that many of them were abandoned for reasons that are rarely brought up. We're delving into the top 10 biggest abandoned cities on Earth that they didn't want you to know about in this video. Let's explore the silence. Number 10. Cahokia, United States. Long before the United States, Cahokia was the largest and most developed city in North America. Between 1050 and 1350 AD, it flourished close to what is now St. Louis, Missouri. It may have had more than 20,000 people at its peak, making it bigger than many cities in Europe at the time. Cahokia's builders belonged to a Native American tribe renowned for constructing massive earth mounds. They were extremely skilled, as evidenced by the largest mound, Monk's Mound, which still remains today. But the city failed for reasons that researchers are still unable to figure out. Over time, people started leaving. According to historians, the environment was no longer able to sustain such a vast population. There might have been a shortage of food and wood, bad soil, or floods. Others believe that political or societal factors were also involved. Cahokia was totally deserted by 1400. Even though it is now a quiet archaeological site, the secrets of a long-forgotten city that was once the center of ancient America can still be found there. Number 9. Sergila, Syria. One of the world's most fascinating abandoned places is Serjila. It belongs to the Dead Cities, a group of ancient cities in northern Syria. At one time, these cities were thriving, and Serjila was one of the wealthiest. Constructed under the Byzantine Empire, it featured all the facilities a small city could need, including marketplaces, public baths, stone houses, and even splendid churches. People lived, worked, and prayed here for generations. By the 7th century, however, Serjila had been totally abandoned. Many people think it happened because of changes in political authority or trade routes, but no one knows the real reason. Some claim that people just moved to larger cities in search of better opportunities. Over time, the buildings were left to the wind and weather, but surprisingly, many of them are still standing today. Moving around through Serjila now feels like stepping back in time. We may get an idea of what life would have been like more than 1,000 years ago from the stone streets and walls. Even though the city is silent, it still has a story to tell. Number 8. Kantubek, Uzbekistan. Situated on the island of Vozrojdeniya in the center of the Aral Sea, Kantubek was a small Uzbek town. But this wasn't just any ordinary town. It was once home to a top-secret Soviet biological weapons research facility. Here, scientists studied deadly bacteria and viruses like anthrax under absolute privacy during the Cold War. Very few individuals were aware of what was actually going on there, and the entire area was heavily guarded. The facility was closed in the early 1990s following the fall of the Soviet Union. The workers left, the scientists went away, and Kantubec was left in ruins. Because the island had become too risky and polluted, no one stayed behind. Most of the buildings were eventually destroyed to prevent people from going back. The Aral Sea has now shrunk to the point where the island is now part of the mainland, but the Kantubec region still has the haunting, empty impression of a ghost zone. It serves as a chilling reminder of a time when secrets were kept in remote places, and at times, those secrets were horribly real. Number 7. Soyang City, China. Once situated along the famous Silk Road, a crucial trade route that linked Asia and Europe, Soyang City is an ancient Chinese city. This town was important for armies, traders, and travelers navigating the desert. Soyang flourished for over 1,000 years. It had homes, watchtowers, huge city walls, and magnificent Buddhist temples where people gathered and offered prayers. Suoyang was a vibrant, cultural city. The city was visited by people from all over the world and backgrounds, and goods such as silk, spices, and pottery went through its gates. It was truly a melting pot of languages and ideas, but the city was gradually abandoned by the 16th century. The desert started to take over, and trade routes changed. Suoyang was abandoned to the sands of time since it lacked the manpower and resources to continue. All that's left today are silent ruins in the middle of the desert. The ancient temple structures and the remains of the city walls offer us a window into a vibrant and bustling past. Even though Suoyang is quiet now, its past continues to speak. Number 6. Varosha, Cyprus. Varosha was once a dream destination on the coast of Cyprus. It was one of the most visited tourist destinations in the Mediterranean back in the early 1970s. The beach was surrounded by luxurious hotels. The shops were bustling, and people from all over the world came to enjoy the sea and sun. It was vibrant, up-to-date, and full of life. But when war broke out in Cyprus in 1974, everything changed. The people of Varosha left everything behind, including cars, clothes, and even meals on the table, when they fled overnight following the Turkish invasion. The area was fenced off by the Turkish military and has remained sealed ever since. It has been deserted for decades. The once vibrant buildings are now falling apart. With plants sprouting through streets and walls, nature has begun to take over. It's a strange and disturbing sight, like a modern city frozen in time. Varosha remains largely off-limits today, and its future remains uncertain. It stands as a ghost town by the sea, quietly reminding the world of what was lost in a moment of conflict. Number 5. Agdam, Azerbaijan. There used to be about 150,000 people living in Agdam, a vibrant and booming city in Azerbaijan. Like any other modern city, it had homes, shops, parks, and schools. As families went about their everyday lives, everything seemed to be peaceful and normal. But things took a disastrous turn in the early 1990s. With the outbreak of the Nagorno-Karabakh War, Agdam got caught up in an intense conflict. The people of Agdam had no choice but to leave as the violence escalated. In the hopes of returning someday, they left their homes, possessions, and memories behind. Sadly, that day never came. Agdam has been empty ever since. What once was a bustling city is now silent. The streets are overgrown, and the buildings are crumbling. It is also known as the Hiroshima of the Caucasus because of how devastated and lifeless it now appears. Agdam is more than just an abandoned place. It also symbolizes the suffering and devastation that may follow from war. Even though no one lives there anymore, the city still tells the story of a community that was torn apart by conflict. Number 4. Tendu China. One of China's most unusual places is Tendu. It was designed to look just like Paris, even down to having its very own Eiffel Tower. The goal was to create a luxurious, European-style city that would draw wealthy homeowners seeking a unique experience. There were gardens, fountains, French-style buildings, and broad streets. On paper, it sounded like a dream, but things didn't work out as planned. Almost no one moved into the city when it was completed. The shops never opened, the houses were empty, and the streets remained quiet. What was supposed to be a vibrant, luxury neighborhood turned into a ghost town. People have called it a fake Paris, and walking through Tendu feels weird. Though there is hardly any life in the area, everything appears to be picture perfect. While some people did eventually begin to settle there, the bustling city that the planners had imagined is still a long way off. Tendu serves as a reminder that even such stylish layouts aren't always successful if they fail to meet people's real needs. It is now a serene, idyllic version of Paris, minus the crowds. Number 3. Plymouth, Montserrat. Plymouth used to be the bustling capital of Montserrat, an island in the Caribbean. Shops, homes, government buildings, and a stunning view of the sea were all there, just as one might expect from a small but picturesque city. Everyone lived in peace there, unaware they would have to leave it all behind one day. In 1995, the nearby Soufriere Hills volcano suddenly erupted. The damage wasn't too severe at first, and everyone expected that the situation would calm down. But the eruptions continued to pop up over the following few years, becoming more powerful and destructive. The entire city eventually started to be covered in thick ash and lava layers. It became impossible to live there. The city of Plymouth was entirely abandoned by the late 1990s. The vibrant buildings and bustling streets disappeared beneath mounds of gray ash. For safety reasons, it has been declared an exclusion zone, which means that no one is allowed to live or travel there. Today, buried beneath volcanic dust, Plymouth's remains represent a frozen moment in time. It is often referred to as the modern-day Pompeii, and is a powerful reminder of how quickly nature can change everything. Number 2. Ordos, China. Ordos, especially China's Kangbashi area, was built with grand ambitions in mind. With its broad roadways, modern skyscrapers, museums, and public squares, the city was built to accommodate more than 1 million people. Everything was shiny, brand new, and designed to make a statement. It looked like the perfect futuristic city, on paper. But there was one big problem. Almost no one moved in. The planners had thought that Ordos's modern lifestyle and appeal would draw people in hordes, but the businesses and jobs didn't follow. Without a strong local economy, people had no reason to stay. Consequently, rows of office buildings and residential complexes remained empty, and the majority of the city stayed abandoned. Walking through Kangbashi feels surreal. With the exception of the people, it displays all signs of a large, bustling city. The silence is almost unbearable. Much of it still feels like a ghost town, though other areas have gradually begun to fill in. Ordos shows what can happen when ambition gets ahead of reality. It's a stunning city that was built with the future in mind, but people haven't caught up yet. Number 1. Pryet, Ukraine. Once a bustling city, Pryet, Ukraine, was constructed in 1970 to house workers of the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant. It featured schools, stores, parks, hospitals, and even a ready-to-open amusement park. Everything that a modern Soviet city would need. There were about 50,000 people living there. Most of them were young families. Life was busy and full of promise, but everything changed on April 26, 1986. The Chernobyl plant's reactor number 4 exploded, spewing enormous amounts of radiation into the atmosphere. At first, the residents had no idea how serious it was. Then, buses showed up out of nowhere, and everyone was ordered to leave right away. Most thought they would just be gone for a few days. They never returned. Pryet is still stuck in the past. Trees are growing through buildings, and animals are wandering the deserted streets as nature goes on to take over. The Ferris wheel still stands, never used. It is quiet, haunting, and eerie. Pryet serves as a powerful reminder of how quickly things can change in life. Once a symbol of progress, it is now a ghost town that has been forever changed by a single tragic event. These abandoned cities serve as a reminder of how quickly nature, human ambition, or war can change life. Each place holds stories frozen in time, waiting to be discovered. Not only are we witnessing ruins when we explore these ghost towns, but we are also traveling through the echoes of dreams, tragedies, and lives once full of hope. That was all for today. Do not forget to like and subscribe to the Suspense Room to unlock more stories.